A big day for NASA researchers. They believe they heard an earthquake on Mars.
What if I told you that Mars had a quake so big that it shook the whole planet for 6 hours? And no, it wasn't caused by a meteorite, volcano, or intergalactic rave. It was caused by something much more surprising. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. First of all, what is a Marsquake? Well, it's pretty much like an earthquake, but on Mars. Wow, what a revelation. I bet you didn't see that coming. It's a shaking of the surface or interior of the planet as a result of the sudden release of energy in the planet's interior. Sounds simple, right? But here's the problem. Unlike Earth, Mars does not have colliding tectonic plates, which are the main cause of earthquakes on our planet. So what causes Marsquakes then? Well, there are a few possible culprits, such as cracking caused by contraction from cooling. Basically, Mars is getting old and wrinkly and its skin is cracking under the pressure. Magma moving and creating pressure deep underground. Sometimes Mars gets a little hot and bothered, and its molten rock starts to move around and causes trouble. Meteorite impacts. Every once in a while, Mars gets hit by a space rock that makes a big boom and shakes things up. But none of these can explain the biggest quake ever detected on Mars, which happened on May 4th, 2022. This quake was so massive that it almost broke the seismometer of NASA's InSight lander, which was about 2,000 kilometers away from the epicenter. The quake had a magnitude of 4.7, which is not that big by Earth standards, but it's huge for Mars standards. To put it in perspective, it was 5 times stronger than the previous record holder of magnitude 4.2, which InSight measured in 2021, and it lasted for a record 6 hours, making it the longest quake ever recorded on another planet. So what caused this monster quake? Was it a giant meteorite smashing into the surface? Was it a massive volcanic eruption? Was it an alien invasion? Nope, none of those. After months of searching and analyzing data from various satellites and orbiters, scientists came up with a new theory. It was caused by tectonic forces within the planet itself. That's right, Mars has some tectonic drama going on. Even though Mars isn't a tectonic plate party like Earth, it still knows how to throw a geological tantrum from time to time. However, it's not just doing it for fun. You see, it's been dealing with some stress, just like when you've had a particularly rough week. But in Mars's case, it's all about parts of the planet cooling and shrinking at different rates over a very long time. When it can't take it anymore, the Martian crust goes, "I've had enough," and releases some tension with a crust quaking performance. It's like Mars's way of letting off some steam, but with a bit more rumbling. And this is what scientists think happened on May 4th, 2022. A fault in the crust near Valles Marineris, a giant canyon system that stretches for 4,000 kilometers across Mars, slipped and caused a massive quake that shook the whole planet. This fault is believed to be an ancient remnant of a strike-slip fault similar to the San Andreas fault on Earth. But why did this fault slip after billions of years of being dormant? And why did it cause such a strong and long-lasting quake? Well, scientists don't have clear answers to these questions yet. They still don't fully understand why some parts of the planet have higher stresses than others, or how these stresses are distributed and released over time. They also don't know how the structure and composition of Mars's crust affect its seismic behavior. It's like Mars is the teenager of the solar system, and its crust is going through some serious mood swings. Well, one thing is certain, this quake has rocked our world of Martian science. It's also shown us that Mars is not as boring as we thought. And as NASA plans to send humans to Mars in the future, knowing where these quakes happen and how they affect the surface will help us pick the best spots for our bases and how to quake-proof them. Because nobody wants to wake up to a Martian earthquake and find their base in ruins. That would be a bad day on Mars. But how can we detect these quakes on Mars? Well, we can't just use the same instruments that we use on Earth because Mars is a very different planet. For one thing, it has a much thinner atmosphere, which means that sound waves don't travel very well through it. That's why InSight's seismometer is not a microphone, but a device that measures the vibrations of the ground. It's like putting your ear to the floor and feeling the rumble of a passing train. And there's more to InSight's seismometer than meets the eye. It can also detect other kinds of vibrations on Mars, such as dust devils, meteor impacts, and even the movements of InSight itself. It's like having a sixth sense that can feel everything that happens on the red planet. But hey, Mars is not a very hospitable place for InSight's seismometer. It has to deal with a lot of wind, dust storms, and temperature changes, which can make a lot of noise and mess up its readings. That's why InSight has a special dome-shaped cover that protects the seismometer from these annoying factors. It also has a heat probe that digs into the ground and measures the heat flow from the inside of the planet. As you can see, even with our trusty InSight, catching Martian quakes is a bit like a game of hide and seek. These quakes are the shy, introverted cousins of the shakes we have on Earth. They prefer to keep to themselves. InSight has the hard job of listening to their low talks, and most of the time they're just murmurs in the Martian wind. Imagine trying to pick up gossip from the other end of the galaxy with your grandma's antique radio. It's a real test of patience. However, once in a while Mars decides to throw us a bone and sends a seismic superstar our way. On that rare occasion, we get a quake so jumpy it practically waves and says, "Hey, InSight, over here!" These are the moments when we're not just cracking the Martian code, but grooving to the Martian move, trying to peek under Mars's skirt, all while enjoying the red planet's rhythm. In a way, InSight isn't just listening to Mars's noises for fun, it's also getting ready for when humans come. Think of it as the space welcome group. You see, by learning Mars's ways, its rocks and shakes, and its secrets, we'll know if it's a good place for humans to stay. It's like checking if it's safe. You wouldn't want to build your Martian home on moving ground or near a loud volcano, right? Mars is like a space puzzle waiting to be solved. By studying its shakes and looking into its rocks with InSight's help, we're getting closer to finding out its answers and treasures. Who knows, maybe one day we'll find a Martian picture or a note saying hello from the red planet. We hope you like it here. So what do you think? Do you believe there are other causes for Marsquakes that we haven't discovered yet? Do you think we should go to Mars and experience a Marsquake for ourselves? Well, we might get a chance to find out soon. If doomsday is not on the horizon, we will likely go to Mars and start a big colony there in the next 20 years. But how will we do that? It will be a tough challenge, not only because Mars is a harsh and unforgiving planet, but also because the journey to Mars could literally destroy our bodies. We made a video on this topic that you can watch by clicking here. You'll hear some surprising things that might make you want to stay on Earth forever. But wait a second, before you go, let me hit you with the classic line. Ready? Here it is. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your buddies, and hit that subscribe button with the bell icon. Trust me, it's not rocket science, but it does make a huge difference for us. We appreciate your support and feedback. See you next time with more awesome space videos.